Yes, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Live stream Uno Mas here. One here, back with a discussion video for you, not a Call of Duty video. We're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy XIV being its own problem, if that makes sense. Final Fantasy XIV, I'm going to just go ahead and say it, right? Final Fantasy XIV is too big for its own good. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that you got streamers like Asmon Gold, is that his name? I don't know. I don't care that much, but Asmon Gold, where he finally went. I don't know if he went from WoW to Final Fantasy 14, or if he just decided to play Final Fantasy 14 after putting it off for so long, and he had well over 200,000 people watching this man play vanilla 14 content, and for what it's worth, the man's name holds a lot of the man's Twitch tag, streamer tag holds a lot of weight. Popular streamer, not knocking him on that. It's good for him. Cool guy and all, but let's talk about 14 by itself for a moment, and how it really doesn't have any competition. Man, it has no competition because WoW is WoW, and we already know what Activision and Blizzard going on over there. By the way, go ahead and check out this video on the allegations going on over there. Not gonna act like an expert on it or anything. Check out Drifter's video. I'm gonna link his down there below. Real cool guy, really intelligent, thorough YouTuber. I'm not shilling. I'm not claiming his content for my own. It's just his video is very thorough and informative. And check it out if you want to know what's going on with Activision and Blizzard. But yeah, outside of WoW, 14 doesn't have any real competition. And don't roll your eyes and give me Elder Scrolls, Black Desert, Eve, Lord of the Rings. No, bro. The two MMOs with the biggest dicks right now are WoW and 14. Let's get that straight, okay? And 14 being as popular as it is, and I think it's popular for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like, so everybody's mama plays this game, right? They're like, yeah, come play this game, man, come play this game, it's great. Once you get to the nitty gritty, the end game, and you got all your gears and whatnot, got a couple of jobs leveled, it's fun, come play with us. Not mentioning the fact that the player base is the problem of the game in and of itself. 14 is a very casual, and I mean hardcore casual game. Like, if I had to give it metrics based on, like, three criteria: content in the game, combat, and what else? Maybe not longevity. Content, combat, and maybe quality. All right, we'll say quality. Content, get like an 8, 9 out of 10, automatic, right? Maybe a strong 8 out of 10 because there's a lot of shit to do in the game. If you just started, or even if you come in or maybe if you come in left like maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know. There's shit to do in the game. There's a fuck ton of shit to do in the game. I can't deny that. Nobody can deny that. There's a lot to do in the game. You also have combat. Now, combat, you got the global cooldown, and some people appreciate the slow pace of the combat, the global GCD. I mean, the global cooldown, because they're not really great or adept at action games, and that's okay. Others, they're like, it's kind of jank, kind of slow, and it doesn't really jive well with some of the jobs. So take that for what you will. But I'd say personally, I give the combat like maybe like a 5, like a strong 5, maybe a 6, pending on the job. And then you got quality, and it's a really well-made game. It's got some minor problems, which you get into the nitty-gritty of in-game combat and whatnot, but the majority of the player base, that's another problem of itself. The majority of the player base doesn't care or doesn't get to in-game combat, so that doesn't affect them, or they don't care for that factor all that much. But yeah, I feel like outside of those metrics, I feel like the player base of Final Fantasy XIV tends to forget that they are the problem in and of itself, in and of Final Fantasy XIV. They are the problem because competency is an actual issue, and funnily enough, a majority of the content in Final Fantasy XIV doesn't require you to be competent, though. Yeah, you don't even have to be remotely good at at combat, at pressing buttons in this video game in order to get the most out of it. You could, by God, you could AFK in a dungeon with monsters trying to attack you, and 7 times out of 10 that doesn't really matter. And eventually any hard content in the game gets steadily, consistently nerfed outside of maybe like a handful of instances, maybe like 3 to 5, maybe even less than that, depending on where the game is in a patch. But that's okay though, because not all video games. I'm not saying the game has to be the next Final Fantasy VII hard mode, Bahamut, Solo Cloud, or Final Fantasy X no sphere grid mode or some shit like that. I'm not saying this Final Fantasy XIV has to fit that niche, right, of being like a hard game. But it can't be denied or ignored that facet of the game, combat, is skewed heavily compared to other content in the game. Final Fantasy XIV has a problem with competency not being required at all in the game. And Final Fantasy XIV player base just expects you to be okay with that. And they don't either they're ignorant of it, and I'm not saying that to be a dick, it's true. I'm not either the average 14 player is ignorant of how of the game not requiring a base level of competence, or they are aware of it and don't care. It's just usually one of the two, one extreme or the other. There are a few in between players that are aware of it and try to tell people like, hey, you know, this game's got a problem with base competency. If you don't have people to play with that's relatively, you know, competent pressing buttons in the game, you might have a bad time, you know, a rough time. And some people are like, well, you know, it's randoms, like, you know, you deal with randoms. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess whoever you're pushing and shoving this game into somebody's face, down somebody's throat, you want them to play. Well, like, do they have to come in with friends that are on their level? Because I am damn sure that if you're already a level 80, as of this video, level cap is 80, and you know you've already got a couple raids in, and you know, like your friend's just starting at level 1 hardcore 1, and you may or may not want to slog them through low level content, and low level content is a slog in this game, and they have yet to address that. But I'm rambling at this point. I feel like it has been said, or it needs to be said, that Final Fantasy XIV and its player base is a problem in and of itself. But don't get me wrong, though. The game's got some damn good music, some damn good OSTs, some damn good trailers. Like, goddamn, like I can't deny that. But Final Fantasy XIV's player base is its own problem, and I feel like people need to make sure that they're aware of that before they jump into this game, because everybody else's mama is jumping into this game. And some people don't seem to know why they are jumping into the game outside of, well, everybody else is playing it. So yeah, just be aware of that. And if you liked anything I had to say, or if I made you laugh, go and drop a like, turn on notifications, and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, I'm curious anybody's thoughts on the matter. I'll see you in the next one.